That looks great.
Can it be crisscross applesauce?
You want to be weird, sure. Is that comfortable?
Yes.
Crisscrossing, applesaucing.
Yes.
Hot diggity dog.
No.
I have a rhyme, but I'm not gonna.
Do it! Please! It excites me.
It's inappropriate for the internet, and that's saying something.
Are we recording already?
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
Cheerio.
Yes. Damn.
You and your. That wasn't even half a shot.
It doesn't matter.
What is this?
Don't pressure me. It's fine.
What is life?
Everything's fine.
You okay? You getting nervous? Stage fright. There's no one here.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
It's like 4 people.
Half a person. We have a lower torso. It's not even the half that can hear anyone. It's just some dude's rock hard dick is just out there by itself.
There's like 3 people, 1 person leaves, another one comes back.
Hey, you know what? If we started out with 3 people, I'd be pretty stoked on that. You know.
Anyway.
Welcome back to the Jony Horror Podcast. I'm your host, Jony Horror, and with me tonight is...
Katie Maresca. Hello.
Katie Kid Sister Maresca. Back in the house. Welcome back.
Hello.
Welcome back to the house. My house. You're just noticing how ominous this room looks right now, don't you? Red lighting. How you doing, pal?
Hey man, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How are you doing?
Spec-fucking-tacular.
Great.
How's that 10% of a shot treating you along with your high nooner?
Great. I'm sipping on it. I'm hanging on to it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow. Keep it in your back pocket, so to speak.
If I had pockets, it would be in one of them.
That's weird. So this episode's gonna be dropping
Thanksgiving?
Ideally the Friday before. So yeah. No, wait.
Thanksgiving
No.
on?
Wednesday. So it'll be dropping, I think ideally this will be dropping the day before Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yeah, everybody. The 23rd.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So hopefully I'll have this up by the 22nd. But yeah, so this being our Thanksgiving-ish episode, what are your favorite Thanksgiving traditions?
Fuck you. Well, I feel like we used to have a tradition. Maybe it was only a tradition in my mind, but where we would race to peel potatoes in Mom's sink.
Yeah, I do remember doing that. That was that was fun.
And there was a very specific peeler that was like definitely better than the other one.
Absolutely, there was.
And you gave me no mercy whatsoever. You were like, I'm taking the better one, and you're gonna deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I am the older sibling. I have seniority and power. Unlimited power.
You're one of those.
I do remember that, and oddly enough, I've peeled many a potato since, usually at Celeste's family's house, and we're just like over a pot.
Like nobody else wants to do it, and you're like,
yeah.
I will peel the potatoes.
I'll fucking do it. It's like usually me and one of her brothers, and we're just like, I feel like we should have like straw sticking out of our mouths, like the fucking Amish just peeling potatoes.
We're in overalls with nothing else underneath it.
It's like how we pass it's our Xbox.
Like, hey man, you wanna go peel some fucking potatoes? Aw, shit. Let's go.
Fuck those potatoes up. Yeah, that's one hell of a tradition thing.
And playing the Elvis Christmas music CD
Yeah.
at like the end of the dinner.
Yeah,
That was
because
like
it was like officially Christmas time.
Yeah.
Then that kind of goes back to it used to be like the day after Thanksgiving. Dad would start cranking the Elvis music and would be like outside hanging up Christmas lights, which is, you know, I don't have too many like distinct memories
from our childhood or
good ones. But that's up there. That's a good one.
Anyway.
That's a whole other podcast.
We'll
right there.
on that.
Welcome to the Jony Therapy Podcast. Jony Family Therapy Podcast.
This is going to be a different pace than we normally go, kids.
Ooh. I mean, there's a whole horror element in and of itself right there. I feel like we usually like would throw on some sort of half-assed Christmas movie too, like something like Christmas with the Cranks.
Shut up. Yeah, like we save the good stuff for like actual December.
Yeah. But that was like one of like, hey, well, let's just fucking knock this stupid thing out of the way. How do you feel about spending time with family?
Oh! No, I love my family. I love you guys. You're great.
God. I love the way you lie to me.
I do, though. I like our family.
It's okay.
It's not bad.
We could do better.
Listen, we love our parents a lot.
Sure. They're not listening. We can say whatever we want about them.
Dad fully listened to the last episode we did and was like, oh my god, I really liked it.
We're in trouble.
Oh
no! Awkward family conversations at dinner. Do you recall any?
No,
like,
I don't think
Thanksgiving.
I mean, like, I don't think they were awkward to me at the time. I think I was just like, yeah, this is like what we are.
I'm not even like I can't even my brain doesn't even go as far back as like mom and dad. I'm just thinking like when it would be like you, me, mom, and Joshua, like back like when I was in high school or something like that. My brain doesn't even like. The only thing I can remember about like Thanksgiving when I was a youngster is just being so like it was the exact mom, God bless her, would go do this entire Thanksgiving giant meal. Like,
and it was like just our immediate family.
Yeah, and she would do it on Thanksgiving and then fucking repeat it less than a month later for Christmas. It was the exact same meal.
And she would be like, and by the time I was in high school, she's like, yeah, I don't want to do this shit anymore. And I'm like, I bet you don't.
Yeah. So we would have like a nice Thanksgiving and then Christmas we would like, and this is true, and we would be fucking jazzed about it. We would go get fucking Jack in the Box, and it was fucking delicious.
It was like the best tradition.
Yeah,
it was really
like a fun thing because we'd have a nice Christmas breakfast, but then like at the end of the day, we were just like, dude, let's just go get some fucking Jack in the Box. They're the only place that are open right now.
Yeah.
Those poor bastards.
God bless Jack in the Box. Yeah, like Christmas breakfast, we would go ham. Mm-hmm. Like we would cook.
Pun intended?
Yes, absolutely. Because like we only ever had ham.
Yeah. Just nothing but ham. Just different varieties.
Mom, can we
of
have
ham.
toast or like eggs or something? No.
You can have toasted ham.
Ham.
Can we have scrambled eggs? You can have scrambled
We're gonna
ham.
have ham, and you're gonna like it. Just ham diced into tiny pieces.
Fuck, we should really talk about the movie.
Yeah.
So tonight we are discussing the 2013 slasher film by Adam Wingard, You Are Next, or You're Next.
Jeez, man.
So, just if I can divulge just even more backstory, really quick, briefly, if you guys can stand it anymore. Back when this came out, probably like a year or two after it came out, like, I'm still not as educated in horror as I am now, and just wasn't really aware of a lot of Thanksgiving-themed horror movies. There really aren't a lot. You could probably name them on one hand, like legit feature films that are horror and take place on or around Thanksgiving. But to me, Your Next always kind of felt like a Thanksgiving movie, particularly with the whole family dynamic. There is a big dinner that takes place. There is a lot of family drama, and it looks like it takes place in either the winter or the late fall. So to me, it's always been a great watch during Thanksgiving. It just kind of fits right on in there, and it's fun. Doesn't take itself too seriously. So I think it's just a good, easy holiday watch. So that is why we are discussing it tonight. We are going to talk about our likes and our dislikes in this first segment. And then the second episode, we will discuss the making of the film, some behind-the-scenes stuff, and give our final thoughts and rankings on the movie. So, Kate, I thought we would do it a little bit differently this time. I want to see how this works out. Instead of just doing the good stuff and then doing the shit, I thought we could each do one good thing, and then jump down to the bad stuff, and we can kind of go through that way. Because I feel like the way that we were doing it before, you'd start talking about the bad stuff while you were talking about the good stuff. So I think this is we'll see if this flows better this way, going back and forth. But right out the gate, give me the good stuff. What do you got for me? Hit me with one of your goods.
I think the good things, and I think you and I would.
Oh, wait. I'm getting ahead of myself. People aren't even going to know what this movie's about, so we should really, tell them, give them a plot summary. I'm getting way, way ahead of myself. I forgot my introduction. In the film, a family goes away into a remote vacation home for parents' wedding anniversary, and all the siblings come together, and then there is an attack on the family, and one by one, the family members start dying off. But one of the brother's girlfriends may or may not have a secret in her past that helps her become a little bit more of a threat to the intruders than they may have originally thought. I can't think of too many movies that this specific... There's plenty of home invasion movies, to be sure, but one where somebody actually knows what the fuck they're doing, I can't think of too many. So this is definitely a standout in that regard.
Yeah.
But sorry for the interruption.
No.
Please hit me with the good stuff.
I think the good stuff was like you and I laughed at like a lot of the same things. I feel like the good stuff was that this movie had a lot of really good one-liners.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like a lot of the dialogue I was like just kind of it's to further the plot, and then like occasionally out of nowhere the characters will say something really funny where you're like, oh my god, that's really funny, I didn't expect that.
It's all very natural too,
Yeah.
because it doesn't feel like someone's making a quip just for the sake of it. It
Like,
feels earned because these characters have already been established, and they're the way they communicate to each other is like that.
Yeah.
So the one-liners end up feeling not out of place.
More rewarding in a way too.
Absolutely.
Another thing is that I feel like this is just like a cozy, comforting like movie that you would put on during this time of year and like just be able to watch it and be like, it's a good time. I'm having a great time, even though I may not be particularly paying attention, but like I'm enjoying this and having a good cozy time watching this.
Yeah, it is definitely a movie that you don't necessarily need to be dialed into all the way to kind of pick up what's being put down.
Yeah, totally.
Some
really good shots too. Like I feel like there's a lot of really, really close-up shots that pay off and that look really good at some points. I really like that. Some of the visuals were really rewarding in this movie.
The cinematography.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right out the gate, I have I love the song.
Yeah.
I just love the song that they play, and it's very it's a creative use of a singular track that it's always there. Yeah. It's always playing, but it never becomes tiresome. Yeah. And every time it does kind of reprise, you have this like moment of like, oh, the song's starting over, or oh, here we go again, sort of a deal. Yeah. I think it's just a very, very clever how they went about using that song.
Yeah, I think so too.
Why don't you pull it up on your phone? What's one of give me some of the shit.
Shit. All right. Well, the shit is that with the dialogue, like the one-liners being really good, sometimes the dialogue is also very flat. Like sometimes you're like, all right.
Do you have examples?
I wish I did.
You fucking hack.
No, I just have good ones. I only specifically wrote down the good ones. No, nothing bad in particular. Just sometimes the dialogue fell kind of flat.
Do you think it was script related or performance related?
Ooh, that's a great question. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Some of the close-ups were too wobbly and too long. Like the scene where the dad is going through the house, like looking, because the mom had heard something upstairs. Like the dad is going through the house looking around, and some of that was just too long to me. Where I was like, all right, come on, like let's move this along a little bit. The older brother is just a cunt, but I feel like he was supposed to be a cunt. That was my note. I wrote the older brother is a cunt, and then immediately after he gets shot in the shoulder, and I was like, all right, that's why that's there. Because he's supposed to be disliked.
I'm gonna piggyback on that really quick. We're gonna jump back to one of my goods, which is I love Drake. He's such a dick. Every one of his one-liners kills me.
What did he fucking say? He was like, I'm the fastest, but I'm shot in the fucking back. That was really funny.
Yeah, and everything that he says to Crispin is great. Just their whole dynamic. He's such a jerk, but like he's charismatic and he's charming and he's funny. He is.
You like him. By the time he dies, you're
yes,
like,
exactly.
I kinda like you.
Exactly. Yeah. And that is not only a well written character, but a well performed character. Because right out the gate, yeah, you're just like, dude, fuck this guy. And then by the end, you're like, oh, no, buddy.
When he's getting in his fight with the brother at the table, at one point he says, you look like the Elephant Man. And you're like, dude, fuck, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, just the shit that he says is just really, a lot of it's harsh. But again, almost like, he goes into this euphoric state once he gets shot with the arrow, and he really does just become easily, out of that fucking family, like, probably ends up being the most likable character in the end, and that says a fucking lot.
Yeah. Wait, is he the only brother? He's the only brother that in the end was not in on it, because the sister wasn't in on it. The brother...
Well, there's 3 brothers.
Who's the one that fucking died? Not him. Yeah, he died.
Yeah.
Felix, and then the main guy. So he's the only brother that wasn't in on it.
Yeah.
Okay, alright.
And that's you can tell that he actually, like, for all of his, like, bullshit, like, almost kiss-assery that he does with his parents.
Yeah.
You can tell, like, he does genuinely, like, love his mom and dad.
Yeah, he does.
He loves his sister. And I think he loves his brothers, but he just has this...
Fucking cunt.
He just has this holier-than-thou thing.
Yeah.
And, I mean, to be fair, at the end of the day, his brothers are fucking pieces of shit. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say, but and we'll touch on him again a little bit later, but he just really does take the cake as far as that family goes. He ends up being one of the most fun. For my one of my shitty notes, I had just for one of my shit notes. Just right out the gate, I have college professors are gross.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it necessarily goes into the relationship of the dude and the girl in the very beginning. It says that he left his wife for her.
Yeah.
He just has a college professor vibe about him, and the girl has an indifference to her that, like, doesn't suggest that she is infatuated with him or anything like that. There's almost like she's trying to get something out of it.
That was one of my notes too, is like almost every woman in this movie is too fine for the man that they're with.
Oh.
But that was my very first note, was like, she's too fine to be with this
and
man.
It just has like a teacher-student thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, we find out that Crispin and Aaron developed a relationship because she was his TA and he's a teacher. I don't know if he was a college professor or not, but I just, college professors are gross. That's my takeaway from this fucking movie.
Yeah.
You hit me with another good one.
Another good one? All right, let's see. I'll say what one of my good ones says. I have a lot of goods.
Hit me with the next one on the list.
All right, so the first one on the list was the shot with the door creaking open when the dad is looking through the house, and he almost goes to, like, look in one of the hallway closets, and the door, like, as soon as he walks away, creaks open just a little bit. And then later on in the movie is when somebody finds, like, the bottle of pee and, like, all the snacks in there. So that, I like that. That was good foreshadowing. I like that. One of my other ones is Felix, you fucking lowlife.
Yeah, that's a great another one-liner from Drake.
Yeah,
just fantastic.
Exactly. It's perfect.
And that was also when he has the arrow in him.
Yep.
Let's see. I got we kind of touched on this already a little bit. I have love the backwoods setting. It feels cold, desolate, and has that perfect fall aesthetic without feeling like Halloween.
Yeah, totally.
Making it the perfect backdrop for a Thanksgiving themed horror flick.
Yeah.
Where did it say where it said they were in?
The license plate said they were in Missouri.
Missouri. Okay. So it definitely has that just open, like,
foresty.
yes, exactly.
Nothing else going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It looks cold. They say how cold it is
Yeah.
numerous times.
And even when the girlfriend is like walking down to the neighbor's house, like you're like, oh fuck, this is a long walk. Like this isn't just like, oh, walk 2 minutes over to your neighbor's house.
Yeah, everything just feels very sectioned off. All the trees are barren.
Yeah.
So it does just it doesn't quite feel like winter to me, maybe because like in that area I would just expect it to be snowy.
Yeah.
So it does feel like it is on the cusp of winter, but again, probably post Halloween, just because all those trees are just
nothing there.
There's nothing there. Yeah. So it really does feel like it falls right in that 2 to 3 weeks between Halloween and Thanksgiving. So it just has that great aesthetic for me.
One of my other ones was, we both laughed at this, the shot where Z and Felix there's like a shot where the girl, what's her name? What's the main girl's name?
Erin.
Where she like is like just bashing in that one guy's head, and there's just like a 2-second shot of like Z and Felix standing together looking at her being like, oh fuck, like that was one of my goods. Yeah. I thought that was really funny.
What about hit me with another shit note?
Let's look at the shit notes. I mean, this is like fine, but like if I'm just being annoying, the overreaction from the wife of the oldest brother when she found someone who was no, it was after she looked under the bed and she found one of the guys in there, and she like ran out and then ran outside and was screaming. She was screaming for like 5 whole minutes, just like the overreaction on her part on that, which is like, I mean, it's fine. Like, it's a...
Yeah, in a probably more realistic setting, there would be a scream and then just fucking running. Probably just not like, screaming while you're running. Probably just fucking...
Just going into shock like a normal person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that. Next on my shit list is... right out the gate, you should have listened to the crazy mom and got the fuck out of the house the first time she heard it.
Yeah, true that. Listen to the person who's on meds. They know what they're talking about.
I was going to say, they're more in tune. for real.
Than the rest of us who just drink to compensate. Oh no!
Cheers to that, partner.
Hey.
But if anyone has any medication they would like to send us, please. We'll take it.
We'll dally with it.
Yeah, we don't even ask questions. Where it came from, what it is, just start popping pills.
We'll try anything once. Maybe twice.
Depends on how much fun it is. What's another good?
I don't know, let's see.
Just keep your fucking phone open. Why
don't tell me what to do! Alright, when the dad's throat gets slit, there's like a really beautiful shot of like his eyes, and then it flashes to like him obviously having his throat cut. That was a great shot. I really liked that. Again, the shots with the masks were very aesthetically pleasing. Like those looked very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Some really good cinematography, if you will.
Oh wow.
The Bechdel test. Let's talk about the Bechdel test. You learned what that is today.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
This just makes me feel like a sexist pig, but...
I mean, for somebody who likes cinema, I feel like you should know what this is.
I just feel like you know what type of cinema I watch, and it's hardly cinema at all. It's hot, flaming garbage most of the time.
But you should know what this is anyway.
I don't read.
Anyway, this movie passes the Bechdel test, which is by the skin of its teeth.
Why don't you tell our guests who...
If you don't know what the Bechdel test is, like some people...
You sexist pieces of shit.
Yeah! Get with the times. The Bechdel test is when 2 women are having a conversation about something other than a man.
Wow.
Lots of movies do not pass it. You'd be surprised enough to find out. But this movie does. the two women in this movie, the two main women characters, Z and Erin, are having a conversation for like 2.5 seconds about how Erin knows like all these survival tactics, and she says that she lives on like she grew up on a survival compound or something like that. And then it immediately talks about like her dad and how her dad taught her all of these things. So they get away with it by the skin of their teeth for like 2 seconds.
Can you pull me up a list of movies that actually pass the test?
I sure can. Let's find out.
And while you're doing that, I'll hit you with one of my goods.
Your goodies?
My goody gumdrops.
Ew. Please don't.
I didn't... You ruined that for me.
Sorry.
It was a perfectly innocent thing. Now it's tarnished. The dinner sequence is perfectly crafted to make the viewer feel insanely uncomfortable in a perfect way to build tension. That whole dinner scene, I just feel like it... Not only does it just establish all of the relationships in a very, very clear way, the roles and the dynamics of all the brothers and sisters, like in really what is like a 2 to 3 minute scene. Certain things were already kind of hinted at, but then it all kind of blows up out in the open. And then there's that moment of Tariq, played by the wonderful Ty West, seeing what's going on and him looking out the window while everyone else is arguing, and only he sees it, but then he gets shot, and then Erin is the only one who sees him get shot, and that's another like little red herring to Erin being more aware of everything that's happening, and everyone else just being caught up in their own bullshit, which ends up really being their downfall. But I just think it's a great scene, and again lends itself to the Thanksgiving aesthetic, because I know that I have either had a Thanksgiving meal or for sure been at other family meals and they've just gone to shit. So we've all been there. It's all very relatable. That's why when people do start arguing, you start to feel tense and you're like, I remember that.
I relate to this feeling.
Yeah. So I love that scene. I think it's great. It's a great starting point for what ends up being a really intense, like, second half of the picture. So
yeah, I think it is. Like, I think you said it really well, where it, like, a lot of the scenes in the very beginning of the movie, like, kind of lead up to that point, but then you get to the dinner scene and then all of a sudden you're like, this is what's really going on. Movies that pass, I don't even know if I'm saying this right, the Bechdel test? Yes,
it
that's
sounds
right.
good. It sounds good.
The Bechdel test. I don't know. Bechdel. Anyway, Frozen, Cinderella. I don't know if that's the old one or the new one.
It doesn't have a year?
Nope, it does not.
Wow. Okay.
Bend It Like Beckham, Arrival, which is one of my favorite movies. Goodfellas, Bridesmaids.
It sounds like there's at least a handful of well-known pictures. I wouldn't expect Goodfellas. I honestly would not expect Goodfellas to be on there at all.
Like, really?
Something screwy with this list.
Good for you. Hidden Figures and Children of Men. I don't know anything about that movie. What famous movies passed the Bechdel test? Kill Bill, Mad Max Fury Road.
I feel like Kill Bill is all about a woman and a man, so again, irony.
Coda. What's Coda? 2021? I don't know.
Coda...
CODA?
I can't remember if it's the one... I really can't... I don't know if it's the one with the girl with the deaf family or not. That's what I'm thinking of, but I don't know if it's that one.
Pacific Rim, Gravity, Zero Dark 30, The Avengers, 2012.
Yeah, Zero Dark 30, all about a woman trying to kill a man.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. These are movies that do not pass the test. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Fuck.
Okay, all of that makes a ton more sense.
Well, Zero Dark 30 is literally about Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's all about Jessica Chastain trying to kill a man. I feel like every single conversation she has. And again, Kill Bill, all about
a man.
Uma trying to kill Bill. Like, all these movies, again, okay, there was,
like,
just
hey,
in my mind, I was like, what scene in Goodfellas are two women not discussing a man? Like, this is not me being sexist, this is just me making a comment on the movie, but what the fuck else were they going to be talking about? Food? Because, like, shit. God, I love you, Marty Scorsese, but your female characters definitely...
I could do with a little gussing.
Oh, to say the least. So, now you know that, if you didn't already, Hollywood is sexist.
Listen, if you didn't know, the world is bad.
Surprise! On that note, hit me with another one from your shit list.
My shit list. Alright, let's see. What's going on? I don't really have that much on my shit list, if I'm being honest.
Well,
one of the ones that I had was in the very beginning with the scene with the college girl and the professor when he's looking at the window.
mm-hmm.
The window that's like that says "You're next" written in blood. "You're next" is written in blood. His dead paramour is literally on the other side of the window with her throat slit on the floor. He notices "You're next" first, and then like the focus pans over to her, and all of a sudden he's so shocked that she's sitting there dead. So that's
I don't know. If I could play devil's advocate, I think like right out the gate, like you would probably like see a giant splatter on your window.
You would for sure, but like he walks up really close to the window and is like, "Oh no!" Like you would see that.
I think that again, that's probably more the actor being directed to do that, you know, rather than a performance thing. So.
Totally.
That's, you know, a conscious effort on the part of the filmmakers to sell that beat.
I don't blame any of the actors.
So again, playing devil's advocate, is it realistic? No, it's pure cinema, baby. And in that regard, like, you know, I feel like you have to give it a pass because I mean you don't have to. I'm gonna give it.
I'm not gonna give it a pass.
All right,
I'm gonna give it a smash.
A smash. A pass and a smash. Sounds like a lot more fun than it probably is. For one of my shit notes, I have going over to the neighbors for milk. I don't know why.
I agree with that
just
completely.
the very idea of like going over to your neighbor's house, like I guess it's not uncommon in movies. I feel like, and maybe not in real life. Actually, like I have a good buddy of mine that like hands out his phone number to all of his neighbors. So his neighbors are always like texting him about shit, and I'm like, "You're insane. You're a sociopath. Like, like why are you just handing out your phone number to people? What is your plan?
What do you have to gain from this?"
Like they're blowing up his phone while he's at work, and I'm like, I would lose my mind if my neighbors were texting me all the time. So I guess it's not unheard of, but the idea of me like going over to, and again they're in the backwoods, so it's not like they can just like go to a store. So the dynamics is a little bit different.
You're right. Yeah.
But still, I think I would probably wipe my own ass with a t-shirt before I go over to my neighbor's house to ask for toilet paper. Like, you know.
And the fact that like the mom was washing all of the dishes by hand, like there was no dishwasher, and Aaron had come up to be like, "Hey, do you need any help with anything?" And the mom was like, "Absolutely not. I'm going to wash all 474 dishes by hand before I accept your help. but
actually, you know what? Why don't you just get the fuck out of my house for about an hour?
Why don't you walk 17 miles to the nearest house?
Dick move.
Yeah.
What's another good you got?
I don't know. Let's see.
The suspense is killing me.
I got some goods. I don't think that's a fair criticism in quotation marks.
The whole bit. I love that whole sequence between Z and Felix when she's like, I want you to fuck me next to your dead mom.
He's like, I don't know.
He's like,
that.
What? And then she's like, he's like, I really don't want to do that. And she's like, you never want to do anything interesting. After they are like murdered his whole family, and he says,
I don't think that's a fair criticism.
I just love it. It's a great bit of dialogue.
Another one is, it's not even hot, you dumb bitch.
When
she like dumps,
and then he immediately like slips on it too.
Oh, that was good. And then Head Blender was one of my other ones.
Yeah, that's just a great kill.
Yeah,
it's
it is. Kill. I think
so. Let's see. Blah blah blah. Already talked about Drake.
We love Drake.
When Aaron takes out the first bad guy, it is so fucking gratifying. They have this whole build up to this scene of Drake's wife, if I can
Kelly.
Is it Kelly?
I'm pretty sure it's Kelly.
We're gonna find out right now if you're right. I believe you, but we'll just go with fucking. Hey, very nice.
Is it Kelly?
It is Kelly.
Hey, look at
well
that.
Done.
Thank you.
So there's this whole build up to this sequence. Aaron is kind of directing Z and Felix about what's going to happen next, and then Kelly gets thrown through the window. Everything just like slows down. Everything goes in slow motion. Mm-hmm. And we see this low shot angled upward. When you're doing film, if you want to make someone look more imposing, you shoot them from a low angle to make them look bigger, more imposing. They did this a lot with Tom Hardy in The Dark Knight Rises because Tom Hardy is about my height, not particularly tall or physically imposing, just from a height perspective. So to make him look bigger, they would do a lot of low angle shots. So they have this shot of, I do believe it is it's the tiger that comes in, and it's all in slow motion. He comes in, he looks super badass with his axe and everything, very menacing, and then he like gets on top of Aaron and is just about to bring down the axe or the hammer, and then she kicks him in the balls, and it speeds up immediately. And then she hits him in the head with the meat tenderizer. Yeah. And she just fucking lays into him. And it's such a well-crafted scene because it starts off like this fucking tiger is in here to do some business and we need to be afraid. It is shot like he is this physically imposing individual that we should be afraid of. And then Aaron immediately undercuts that by taking away his manhood and really just laying into him. Like, what did I say? We want every single final girl to do in any horror movie, just keep beating his fucking brains in. Don't stop. And she doesn't stop. And that is that beautiful shot of Z and Felix just looking in sheer fucking awe and terror as she annihilates that guy's brain.
And that's when later on she says like, oh, thanks for your help or something like that. And he's like, oh, it looks like you had it under control.
Yeah.
Because she did.
Yeah, she did. She fucking kicked ass. And it's such a perfectly crafted scene and is such a great flip of the coin for final girls and particularly female empowerment, because we realize that while these guys who are probably all ex-military, guys that are dangerous, she is the most dangerous person in the movie.
Yeah.
Without question.
Yeah.
And that's just a really refreshing take. And honestly,
yeah,
I can't think of a movie that I've seen since or before, for that matter, where the victim is the most dangerous person in the room.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's such a great concept and is executed perfectly in that scene.
I think it's really nice to watch, like you said, the victim be the person who's actually taking charge and making things happen, and you're not sitting there being like, oh my god, do not go down the dark staircase, like do something. It's really refreshing to like watch the main character and to watch the heroine actually make some moves and make some progress, and that's a really nice thing to see.
Mm-hmm. What's another good you got?
I got so many. Let's see. Just really nice cinematography in this movie. Like the very last shot where she is, what's her boyfriend's name in this? It's Crispin, yeah. Where she's talking to Crispin and he is trying to convince her that like they could still get out of it. He's telling her that they could like go on a vacation to Paris and make all this money if they just get out of it quietly. And she has like blood all over her face. Her hair is all disheveled and she's got like tears in her eyes. Like that was just a beautiful shot of this woman who literally has like blood and grime all over her. And this man who is trying to convince her, like, just come quietly. I'll take care of you. Everything will be fine. You know, you'll be taken care of. That was just a really beautiful shot. And then she decides to, what does she do? She stabs him with like
stabs him with what I believe is a steak knife.
Yeah. That was a really beautiful shot. And I think that was really good storytelling with that shot of just like him trying to sit there and convince her to just come quietly while she literally has the blood of his family all over her. That was a really good shot. I like that.
Yeah, a nice
juxtaposition.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, sure, not unlike a lot of what a lot of women have experienced in some way, shape, or form, of like, come on, it doesn't have to be like this. You know.
Just suck it up. Just swallow it. You'll be fine.
Wow.
Not like that. Not like that. Not like that. But like, you know.
But I think what and this movie came out in 2013. What is that like? How many years is that removed from Harvey Weinstein?
Oh God, I don't know.
Handful of years. I can't remember.
A couple.
I think all that happened in 2017. I believe that's when that happened. So like this is already, you know. I mean, not that all of this stuff wasn't in film, at least, you know, that wasn't being talked about in some way, shape, or form, but this is a very, again, very, like, on the nose, but still subtle approach to that topic.
Concept, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Very, very well, all of it's just very well handled. Let's see, and then just on top of that, like all the kills in this are so good. They're so brutal. That goes back to the, you know, the blender. You know, every time one of the bad guys gets killed by Aaron, you're just like fucking,
thank God,
rooting.
Yeah,
you're just like, fuck yeah, girl, get it.
Yeah,
because all of these people are assholes.
Yeah,
it's so great. As opposed to something like a Friday the 13th film where all of the people are assholes, but it's either you root for them or you root for the villain, which is Jason. So all those people are assholes. So you're like, yeah, Jason, kill him. And that's how Jason becomes this anti-hero. In this, we actually have a heroine, rather, that you're rooting for from the very start. So
would this be considered like a slasher film?
Absolutely. Absolutely
I feel like it's kind of like an anti-slasher film because you're watching the villains get murdered repeatedly.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, but I mean, also there's just a lot of family members that die before that too.
Like within the first 30 minutes. Of
yeah,
the film.
I mean, again, think about we're also dealing with the murder of the two people at the very beginning too. So yeah, this is absolutely a slasher film. It's just it's a twist.
It's different.
Do you have any more on your shit list, or is that?
No, I don't think I do. I think my shit list was relatively short on this one. No, I don't. I mean, I think my only other thing was when in the very beginning, the daughter is talking about running. I don't know where she was talking about running to, but she was talking about running to the car or running to the neighbor's house. My only note was what father would let his daughter run outside? Because I think it was the dad and the eldest.
Yeah, I thought that actually watching this time too.
You're like,
just
no, he would not.
Yeah, there's no way. Their relationship kind of reminds me of Celeste and my father-in-law, Kevin. So. And I don't see that, even though Celeste is very empowered individual, I do think that her dad would do a lot to try and prevent her from
no matter how empowered your daughter is, I think a lot of fathers would be no. No.
Yeah. But that's how the cookie crumbles. Let's see. There's a bit, and I've never understood this in the very beginning, where I believe it's is it Paul, the dad?
Maybe.
Yeah, Paul is talking to his son Crispin, and they're talking about whatever, and they're talking about the fellowship. Did you get the fellowship? And I don't know what that is.
I was of the ring.
Yeah, it strikes me weird just because fellowship is I don't know, to me it's such a religious term almost. It's just always stuck that way to me because I heard it a lot in church. So and I don't hear it a lot out of church. So I'm not sure what it
refers to.
Referring to. I'm sure it's some sort of not grant, but maybe what is it called? An apprenticeship or what is it called when you work for free? Internship. I'm sure it's something like that.
Something like that.
I'm sure it's along but just the word fellowship, it always struck me weird, and the way they talk about it, the fellowship. Did you get the fellowship? There's people who have been published that haven't been published that have gotten the fellowship. And I'm like, it's a very I think just in terms of writing, you could have written something that maybe is just as vague, but
not so specific at the same time.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I feel the same way. Where I was I don't really know what a fellowship.
And it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't have anything to do with anything other than establishing that his father is disappointed in him. Or he thinks his father is disappointed in him.
It doesn't have to exclude, I don't know, the majority of the audience who doesn't know what that is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or if it's even really a thing, if it was just written in the script. So it's one of those things that has always stuck out to me and does seem just a little just out there for what the rest, again, has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. So
I agree. I thought the same thing when that scene was happening. I was like,
yeah.
Why was that word in particular used?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure there's a reason for it, but
it could have
been.
But again, we're not privy to that. So, you're telling me that asshole had time to write "You're next" right next to the dead mom 1 minute after everyone heard her get killed, and they ran upstairs and kicked in the door. That "You're next" is written very, very cleanly,
intently.
Yeah, and it's only like maybe a minute, maybe two, if you want to, push it and say that they had a hard time getting the door open, but I feel like it would take.
How much time would it take you to get up the stairs right now if you heard someone literally screaming?
Oh yeah, it would take
20 seconds.
Yeah, less. It'd take me like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. This house is a little bit bigger.
Missouri.
A little bit bigger house, and they did try and they were having a hard time kicking in the door, but it was Drake that kicked in the door too, which I thought was funny because the one guy who's actually hurt in those like four guys is the one who actually kicks down the door.
And I was gonna say one of my things was like in the scene before, that man was like pale as a ghost, sweating, like looked horrible, and then in that scene he looked totally like he just had an arrow in his back.
Yeah,
like that was the only thing that was wrong with him.
I mean, you could say adrenaline. We could do that.
Sure. Why not? Sure.
But that really stuck out to me. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. And he also had to like stick a machete in that lady's throat. Like he had to brutally murder that woman.
And I think there's blood like everywhere too. Yeah. So like, there's
and then just hide under the bed.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's
showbiz.
Yeah. Speaking of nonsense, the jackassy fox boy walks right into the flashing lights when Aaron sets up like the camera in the basement and it's like flashing, and he's just walking toward it. You're like, all right, bro, you deserve to die because you're fucking stupid.
Yeah, you're dumb.
What military training did you get? Because you're a jackass. Then you just get there and fucking hit with a piece of wood and then just get your face smashed in like a little bitch. Doesn't even fight back.
Yeah, and I'm like, I know like she's the heroine and that's fine, but I'm also like, she is 85 pounds soaking wet, like if that even. Like that girl is very, very small.
Like all the other like times that she hits someone, like she's using an object that lends itself to being like, getting hit in the head with a fucking meat tenderizer would shock the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
Right out the gate. And but it's like a piece of wood or something like that she hits the fox guy over the head with. And I'm like, I don't know if he would have been as I mean, again, when you give the benefit of the doubt, like maybe she got him in like, the soft spot of your head or something like that, where there's a pressure point and you just go down. But that was one where I was like, dude, he's just on the ground, and then she like takes him in before she starts bashing his face in. I'm like, aren't you doing anything, bro? But again, I digress.
That scene was very aesthetically pleasing, though. Like that was one of my notes, was that scene in particular. I was like, oh, this is a very like visually pleasing scene.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anything with flashing lights just looks fucking cool.
Yeah.
Unless you're prone to seizures, which.
Sorry,
gang. Any other random thoughts to close out?
I don't think so. I think I went through all my notes already. I think that was everything I got.
I just had this one, and I've been wondering this. This is not specific to this movie, but I heard it in this movie, and now I'm like, is this like just a thing? When the dad's like looking around at the beginning of the movie, he's like, hello? And it just got me going. I'm like, all right, we're still doing this in movies now, where someone's alone in the house, and they're like, hello? And we all know it's a trope, so I'm wondering, are filmmakers just purposely putting it in there now? Because like back in the day, like it wasn't a gimmick, it wasn't a cliche, but now we're all aware of the cliche, painfully aware of like being like looking around in a spot and be like, hello? And I'm really curious if filmmakers are just like putting it in there on purpose now, like, aha! It's almost like the Wilhelm scream, like it's the joke,
What was the other thing that you had mentioned?
Chekhov's gun.
What was that?
Chekhov's gun is
like foreshadowing.
Yeah, it's foreshadowing. It is if you see a gun in the beginning of a movie,
it comes back to
at some point in that movie, that gun is going to play a role.
Which I think in this movie that did apply, because I was
Chekhov's gun is the closet in this movie.
Yes. And it's the neighbors, because like at some point I was like, why were the neighbors murdered? If the whole point was for the inheritance of the family, why were the neighbors murdered? And then at the very end, the what's his fucking name? Crispin?
Yeah.
Crispin. That's such a weird name.
Crispin Glover.
Crispin, obviously. He was like, oh, but then like it all played a part where he was like, oh, the neighbors were murdered. You were just supposed to be a witness. Like then it came together, but like midway through the movie, I was like, why were the neighbors murdered?
Yeah, it's all coming together.
It's all coming together.
Chekhov's gun, baby.
And the Bechdel test.
That just sounds like some sort of surgery or something like that. Surgery to cut off the tongue of every man alive.
Yes!
Hail to the queen, baby.
That's right.
Any other thoughts, comments, concerns about your next before we close out this particular segment on the flick?
No.
No? That's
No.
it?
That's all I got.
Wow. Wow. Well, yeah, so this is going to wrap up this part of the show. We will be back with another episode to talk about the making of and our final thoughts on the flick. And I'm sure there'll be, some segues into other,
some bits and whatnot.
Family therapy and shit. But thank you guys so much for making it all the way to this point. If you did, if not, I mean, that's fine too. I hope you're nice and fat on Thanksgiving food right now. Maybe
Gobble.
undoing that notch on your belt and passing out in your comfy chair or sofa or couch, what have you.
Or the floor if you're
I mean the floor can be comfortable too. Never put down the floor. I've slept on some good floor before.
Haven't we all?
But I have been your host, Jony Horror. With me, Katie Kid Sister Maresca.
Thank you.
We are here wishing you crazy youngsters a very, very happy Turkey Day, and we will see you motherfuckers on the flip side. Adios, muchachos.
Goodbye.